Hey everybody, welcome to my unscripted Q&A about dating, love, marriage, and intimacy. I am going to be doing a impromptu Q&A. Excuse me. I know actually a beautiful day here in Michigan, close to 40 for February, sunny out for once. Excuse me. And I am going to be taking your Q&A questions on, like I said, I usually do the Art of Relationship show Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is Detroit, New York time, East Coast time. Hey, Cody, what's going on? Sophia, I appreciate it. And as this is just an impromptu excuse me, as my allergies are kicking up. I'm doing an impromptu Q&A. Hey, Astriana, what's going on? Impromptu Q&A. As a lot of people know, maybe you don't know, I usually do the Art of Relationship show live on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and that is, Detroit, New York City time. But today I'm doing an impromptu Q&A on dating, relationships, marriage, and intimacy to help you out there. So I'd love to take your questions. It's a beautiful, actually, it's rare, a beautiful Sunday day here in Detroit, Michigan, Metro Detroit. I am about 15 minutes from downtown. So I'm taking, I said, why not? I got some time, I can chill out. Don't have much going on. The Lions, we all cry, Metro Detroit, right? How they lost. So I said, why not? I got some cleaning done around the house, so why not I do an impromptu live Q&A instead of, it's, based on the Art of Relationship show. So any questions you have or any challenges you're going on with relationship, dating, marriage, intimacy, please share this on your timeline right down below, people. Share it on your page, your timeline. I'd love to try to help you out as much as possible. For those that don't know, I'm actually a fully licensed professional counselor, relationship and sex specialist here in Michigan, Metro Detroit area. So, yeah, a lot of school, you need a minimum of a master's degree, and I have postmasters, certificates, all that stuff going on. So I am legit. I'm not just the fly-by-night, that coach that people gives their label to. So I actually see clients in my office. I'm actually at home now, and I love helping people out. You tell me about, ask me questions, whatever I can do about, relationship, about cheating. Most couples I work with, one cheated, both cheated, divorce papers are filed. Same thing, I work with a lot of couples that aren't married. Same thing, one cheated, both cheated. Esther, I appreciate you tuning in too. Thank you so much. So that's mostly what I work with. Couples, same thing, that aren't married, live together, one cheated, both cheated. Looking at breaking up, divorce papers filed. So I'd love to hear your take and what you're going through. And of course, this doesn't replace the actual, counseling, professional counseling that I do in my office or virtually. I have to throw that out there legally, but I can give you some insights based on what I do to try to help your situation out as much as possible, okay? And for those, you want to learn more about me, check out my website, theartofrelationships.org, and I actually have a few classes that are on sale right now, so that's where, they're on sale. They're cheap, okay? Very cheap. I think I have them marked at $37 a piece, and there's a lot of content. Healing after an affair. There is 28 days to revive your relationship, and a premarital course, too. So it's based on, I've been doing this professionally for 21 and a half years now. So that's what I want to go after. Are you talking about school? Hit me up. What about school do you want me to talk about? If it's, I did mention about, my schooling, being fully licensed in the state of Michigan as a licensed professional counselor. So I did talk about, school. You need a minimum of a master's degree, internship, practicum, residency, all that stuff to do this legally, that is, to be fully licensed. So that's where I talked about school, if that made sense, what the requirements are. And if people, hey, any questions you have, if you're thinking about going into this field, I'll tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, school requirements, and some insights. I'm all about helping as many people out there as possible, okay? So most of what I do, of course, is, and I mention this when I do the Art of Relationship show live on Wednesday nights Eastern, I talk about, mostly I deal with, couples, one cheated, both cheated, but I'm all about trying to look at what I can do to help a couple get more reconnected, rebuild trust on the emotional, mental, and of course, intimate, physically intimate, sensual levels as much as possible. And a lot of people in this field are, you have to be careful, okay? You think because you're licensed, everyone's going to be great doing what they do. No, they're not, unfortunately, okay? So you want someone that's going to help you, that's very solution-focused, solution-oriented, that actually is compassionate. They actually care about you. They're not biased in their own beliefs about what a relationship, what a marriage should be like. It's about you out there and how that person, how I can help you get to where you want to be, if possible, in your relationship, dating life, marriage, that type of situation, okay? And you get into, maybe sexual desire discrepancies, okay? You get into, I hear this often, excuse me, about communication. Everybody air quotes, we hate, right? Communication issues. And I say, is it the communication? Is it because you don't understand each other? Or maybe you're meant to speak intently on one thing or talk about one thing, and it comes out, the impact of it is different. You're trying to be respectful and mean, and or not mean, sorry. You're trying to be respectful and, maybe direct and compassionate and caring. You're upset, you're mad, you're hurt. And then it turns out that, your partner feels like you are attacking them, right? You've done this, instead of looking at, excuse me, I know my allergies are kicking up. So I might have to pop another allergy pill for a bit. Hey, Kristen, thanks so much. So, I'm very going from general to specific, if you will, and, helping couples out. And like I said, I want to help you out, even though this does not, what do I want to say? It does not replace, actual professional therapy. It's not a substitute for it, but I want to try to help as many people out there. So, throw your questions out there. Let me know, what your questions are, your struggles are. Maybe you're contemplating a breakup or a divorce. Maybe you're looking at getting married, or you're looking at maybe a relationship might be unhealthy, might be toxic for you, and you're wondering if you should stay or not. And I can give you some insights and to do a gut check. And again, it's nobody's decision but yours, okay? I tell people it's biased, it's judgmental, and I'm huge on looking at your gut instincts, okay? And, going back to, communication aspects, maybe you've tried for years, and your gut instincts are saying, but I love her, I love him, I love her, I love him, and your gut's saying, this ain't going to work, okay? So I'm all about trying to line up the heart. I use, the heart and the gut. I want them lined up if possible. And that's not always possible, okay? So you have to look at what love is to you and what are your expectations of a healthy, happy relationship, okay? Nobody else's, okay? The only time I'm going to get aggressive or very assertive, if you will, with relationships or marriages where I'm going to want them maybe separated or, they need to be apart for a bit. If it's a, abusive situation, okay, where someone's going to get hurt, someone's going to get killed, I don't want that at all. So I'm going to be a lot more assertive, maybe aggressive might be a right word, to look at, hey, you need to chill out. We need to maybe look at individual sessions to work on if there's anger aspects, if there's rage elements. And everybody assumes, right, when it comes to this, men are always the perpetrators. Not at all. I got all kind of stories about women out there being mean, okay, being ratchety, if you will, where they'll stab their man, their husband, super glue his dick to his stomach. These are all real stories, slash tires, bust out windows, burn his clothes, bleach his clothes. So I don't want anyone getting hurt or killed. So with that type of situation, and yes, I deal with all kind of, I have a wide diversity of clients, color, culture, race, religion, that type of stuff. And I'm very flattered to be helping as many couples as I can. So, like I said, I've been doing this. I'm very humble. I'm cocky. I'm a smart ass. I love joking around. But my passion is trying to help people as much as possible. Okay, I'm blue collar in nature. You can see, I'm all freaking, I got tattoos, right? Very unprofessional, but I have a lot of education. I'm not bragging in specialties and certifications to work with couples, sexual dynamics, and I want to help people as much as possible. Again, going back to, there's other people in this field that are biased, that will use unethical, unproven strategies to help people. Or I tell people, if you go to somebody and say there's a compulsive issue sexually, okay, and they start throwing the word about sex addiction, porn addiction, you need to run out of their office, okay, because they have no clue what they're doing, and they're biased, they're judgmental, and you need to get the heck out of their office big time, okay? Even if you call them or look them up and they have anything remotely on their website referencing, sex addiction, porn addiction. No, there's a difference between an addiction versus a compulsive behavior, okay? So you got to be able to look at those elements. And I'm not, throw your questions out there, okay? I'm sex positive. I want what's healthy for people. I'm all about equality. And I'm not biased. I'm not judgmental. I want to help you get to where you want in your relationship, in your, marriage, that type of thing, especially if it's going sideways or it's going downhill. Hey, Mars, what's going on? How many people out there? I love seeing a lot of people. So let me know. Yeah, anything I can do to help you. Throw your questions out there. Don't be shy. And I will be anonymous, okay? So if you throw a question out there, Angelo, what's going on? So if you have a question, you want me to answer it, and I'll do the best I can. But unless you give me permission to use your name, I'll keep it anonymous, okay? I'm all about, even in my office, I have to, follow HIPAA guidelines, confidentiality, privacy, rights, and everything too. So on here, it's different, okay? That's why I said it doesn't, this does not replace professional counseling that I do in my office with consent forms and permission for me to help them, that type of situation, okay? So throw your questions out, people. You gotta have something. How many people are looking at going sideways and looking at what do you think is the most challenging or most difficult situation you've been in with a relationship or dating, marriage situation? And like I said, I do most of what I specialize in is sexual challenges, but also rebuilding trust, one form or another. Like I said, earlier, I look on, what I can do to help couples rebuild the trust. And there's a myth out there, a lot of myths out there about cheating, right? Once a cheater, always a cheater. That's not true. That's bias. That's judgmental. So if anyone tells you that, or any other professional tells you that, again, just like I mentioned about the addiction aspects, you need get the hell out of their office, okay? You want someone that is more trained, that's more specialty in working with couples, working with sexual challenges, okay? There's a lot of people out there that also, as you see, oh, what do you specialize in? And they'll list off 30 things they specialize in. And I'm telling you, you can't. You might work on them or work with them a little bit, but it's very difficult to specialize in 30 different things. It's one of those aspects that, you work on a lot of stuff, but you're a master of none type of thing. So you want someone that specializes specifically in the challenge you're having. If it's, mood disorder, depression, maybe you have anxiety, PTSD, a lot of stuff. Like I said, my specialty, and I have a lot of grief and a lot of trauma experience as well. But now I still work with adults. I used to work with kids and teens years ago. But I stopped, 11 years ago at least now, working with kids, teens, severe trauma. But I handpick, trauma. I work with trauma and adults, and I handpick those now. Rape survivors that lost a loved one. There was maybe a drive-by shooting or someone got killed, that type of stuff. And, working with, witnesses to trauma, rape survivors, that type of stuff. Car accidents, losing a child, which is not easy. It's horrific. So, yeah, anything I can do, I want to help. Throw out your questions out there. Don't be shy. Or is everybody out there in TikTok land as I trip over my tongue? I know it's Sunday. I have not shaved. I haven't combed my hair. No, my baldness, right? Looking at, so everybody on TikTok right now, you're telling me that you have no relationship challenges, never had any. Well, we don't want any, let's be honest, right? Maybe there's insecurities going on and you're scared. Maybe a lot of people went through a horrific breakup and your heart got ripped out, okay? Hey, Jesse, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Share the live video on your timeline. Peter, thanks, man. So I look at, what I can do to help you have a healthier, happier relationship or marriage, and also promote self-love and self-respect. So that needs to be in place, okay? Tell people you're able to be, when you have more, or you're starting to learn or apply and work at having more self-worth and self-respect, you might not be in a situation that might be unhealthy. Some people might be, low self-worth, and it's sad. I get it. It's not easy. That they might have self-worth issues, challenges, esteem issues, so they'll take anybody to love, or that they think loves them, and they end up not only getting in, but they stay in, remain in toxic, maybe abusive relationships, be it, emotionally abusive, mentally abusive, definitely physically abusive situations. And, well, no one else will love me, so I need to stay here. So I'm all about trying to help couples define what their expectations are for a healthy, happy relationship. Again, nothing's perfect. I'm not, people, hey, G, hey, G said, you got to expect perfection. No, nothing's perfect, okay? So that's where I'm looking at, what would be your ideal situation? What are your deal breakers? And when it comes to love. So going back to at the beginning when I started, mention about communication aspects, right? Everybody talks about or has communication issues. And I ask, what? One person says, screw you. The other one says, screw you back. You understand each other, right? So you get, you're pissed at each other. You get that. But I'm looking at, what do you mean communication issues? So I want people to go from general to specific, the root of the issue. Are you not feeling heard? When you talk about communication issues, is it that you get defensive if you or your partner, brings up an issue? And I'm not talking about going confrontational style. I'm not talking about attack style. I want people to be able to go to one another, not at one another. Hey, I don't feel respected. So think about it. Put yourself in these shoes, right? Your partner, former partner, maybe the single people out there, that you are not, you're in a relationship, you're marriage, or looking at getting married, okay? And if your partner came to you and said, hey, I don't feel loved, I don't feel respected, and they said it just like that, they're not like, you rotten, that's attacking. I want people to come from the hurt, the pain, the issue, and come to, not at each other. I know it takes practice, okay? I told you, I'm a realist. So how would you handle that? How would you, what do I want to say? Would you automatically get defensive, like I talked about, right? When it comes to communication aspects, do you automatically get defensive? Do you automatically go tit for tat? Or some people will go automatic shutdown, right? They shut down, they won't say anything, and they'll try to hurry up and get away. Because there's some people that if there's any type of confrontation, I'm not talking aggressive confrontation, I'm talking about any type of conflict or anything that makes that person uncomfortable, they'll shut down and want to run and hide in a hole or in a closet somewhere. So I look at, going back and be real, be honest, look in that mirror and, hey, you know what? I would get defensive. I would sort of shout back. I would, I don't feel loved either. Would you go into a tit for tat? Would you get defensive? Or would you be able to say, hey, you know what? Man, I don't want you to feel not loved or not respected. What can I do? Are you able to look at those elements and look at, hey, what can I do so you feel more respected? You feel more loved. And I got to throw a disclosure out there, okay? That doesn't mean you or your partner or person, that doesn't mean they get their way all the time, okay? I joke around in my office with couples, right? And I'm looking, what do you need to feel loved and respected? Hold on, I got to clarify. Respected doesn't mean you get your way all the time. But those are type of things, and what type of communication do you want to have with your partner, right? I promote couples being able to talk about anything and everything, okay? Meaning, no matter if it hurts your feelings, pisses you off, brings up insecurities, okay? I'm not saying it's easy, not at all, but you can talk about those difficult things. And a lot of challenges out there, maybe you can relate out there in TikTok world, where a lot of people look at, you know what? We can't. We never can talk about sex. It'll turn into an argument, or I feel like I'm talking to the wall. We can't talk about finances. We can't talk about parenting. Can't talk about, quality time, meaning that, man, I want some more time with you. Workaholic. I work a lot too, but you look at, what is good enough and what is a balance, that type of situation. So if you look at you personally out there, what subjects do you have a hard time talking about? Okay. Me, my personal life, I want to be able to talk about anything and everything. Like I said, I'm a smart ass. I love joking around, but I love deep conversations, not just surface level stuff. But a lot of people want to remain on the surface level stuff. So when it comes to communication, they don't want to grow or evolve because maybe they're afraid, maybe insecurities, maybe it hits a nerve, meaning that they're afraid to be open and vulnerable. So we're always protecting our heart, right? We're like, oh, I'm going to guard it, right? So, and then if you're always guarding your heart and your soul, I get it, people. I tell people all the time, your heart and soul, trust and respect, they have to be earned, not just given, okay? So that's where I'm looking at. But with relationships and marriage, even dating, right? If you move towards a relationship, if that's what you want, part of the one thing that builds and evolves and strengthens a relationship and marriage is to be open and be vulnerable with each other, right? And it's difficult. Some people might have no problem being open and vulnerable, but they're craving that from their partner and they can't. So, or the partner can or won't. Okay. So I look at what I can do to help teach and try to strengthen the confidence and strengthen the courage to be more open in that relationship. And it's not easy. It's very difficult. Like I mentioned before, hey, you know what? I don't feel loved by you. I don't feel desired by you. And they're like, oh, yeah, screw you. Is that all you ever think about? Or you always got to complain. Now, what does that do? Does that allow me to be open? Does that allow me to be vulnerable? Or does that teach me I'm going to shut my mouth? Just shut it right now. I'm not going to bring it up. I don't feel safe talking about this. Or how many people have been subjected to, or maybe you have used this. Hey, Casey, subjected to this that, oh, here we go again, right? Well, here we go again because maybe it's not resolved. You get me? And that's where you look at, and that's where you talk about communication and actions. And I said about, trust and respect have to be earned. But what are you doing to earn that from each other? What are you doing to make it safe for each other to be open, to be vulnerable with one another, okay? And, I get, we could be open and vulnerable and we get our heart ripped out, right? I get that. It's not easy. I told you, I'm a realist, okay? I look at what do we do? Can we do that even if we get our heart ripped out? I don't want that, okay? And a lot of people look at in a relationship or marriage, their partner keeps saying, well, I feel like you have one foot out the door all the time. That you always have, okay? So being able to look at the situation, being able to look at, oh, good thing I wasn't 100% in, or good thing I did have one foot out the door. But then what happens is the relationship ends or the marriage ends because you had one foot out the door. You didn't give your all. So I'm all about people and holding them accountable and looking at, hey, what do you do? What can you stop doing to be a better partner? And that goes maybe a better listener, maybe having each other's backs, that you don't talk smack about your partner to friends. What I mean by smack, okay? That you don't talk poorly. You're not throwing them under the bus. You're not belittling them, degrading them, calling them names, right? What if you or one of your partners, your partner out there, what if they overheard you or you overheard them talk, oh my God, my lady, my man, they're terrible in bed, man. They don't know what the hell they're doing. If that happened to you, what would that do to you, right? I want that to stay between you two, to be able to teach each other, to be able to grow and evolve that. Would you be able to say, hey, what can I do to get better, right? What can I do to get better? Now, but a lot of people will, right? That's like, stab right in the heart. But that's what I'm talking about, being able to talk about anything and everything. I don't want people to go back and bash each other to friends, to family. That breaks trust. That breaks emotional safety. And that's just going to further lead, hey, what else are you talking about behind my back? What else are you saying? What else are you doing? I can't imagine what else you're talking about. You get me? So that's where the sanctity, and I'm not talking religious, I'm not religious, talking about the sanctity of the relationship or the marriage, to be able to look at that you have each other's backs, you trust that you're not going to badmouth each other. We need people to vent to, but that's different. Hey, you know what? Ran into problems. Should I have handled it this way? What are your thoughts? Maybe, hey, what do you think he meant by this? Or what do you think she meant by this? That you can get insight and try to gain, insights from other people, friends, family. That's fine. Absolutely fine. But it's a difference between that and you're ripping each other apart. Okay. So first of all, looking at, what needs to improve, that you can talk about anything and everything with your partner. And I'm going to hear this all the time. Well, my partner, Greg, they need to. I get that, okay? But I'm all about people holding themselves accountable to be able to look at, hey, you know what? I could improve on this area. It's like the situation I ask couples in my office on a regular basis, or are you waiting for the other one to go first? Meaning to make changes, to evolve, to grow, to stop doing something they were doing. Oh, I'm not going to do anything until he does something. I'm not going to do anything until she goes first. So there's a lot of dynamics, dealing with relationships, marriages, and we could look at, different sexual orientations or dynamics, open relationships. There's consensual non-monogamy. There's poly, monogamous, of course. So you look at, there's a lot of dynamics, and there's a lot of people out there that will judge and bash other people. And sadly, there's people in this field that there's a lot of good people in this field that'll help, but there's some that are very judgmental, very biased based on their own religious beliefs, based on their own life experiences, based on what they think about how the world should be or how people should be. Remember, it's your life, people, nobody else's, okay? So, hit me up. What are your questions out there about dating, about relationships, about marriage, intimacy? I had a couple yesterday. I talk about, I want more. She mentioned I want more, romance, and I'm not really sure what that is. Well, let's talk about it, okay? Because everybody has a difference of opinion what romance is, what sex is, what intimacy is, right? What being loved is. Romance to some people could be, whips and chains, and to another one, it's romance is a love letter, maybe dancing in the living room naked twister. Maybe it's, just holding each other, watching their favorite TV show, movie, or just chilling with each other. Here we go, sharing TikTok videos, laughing. So I tell people that's where I want you to, with expectations, to go from general to specific and looking at, what works for you and, what your idea of a relationship is and your partner's ideal, right? Because say you have two people, they love each other to death, great people, whatever, excuse me, and one wants a kid and the other one doesn't, right? That's not going to work. You can't compromise, but you stay together and you're hoping the other one changes their mind 5 years later, 10 years later down the road, and you're upset, you're pissed, you're angry, okay? Because the other one did not change their mind. Oh, it's been this long. I thought you would change your mind on having a kid. Oh, I thought you'd change your mind on maybe you would want a kid. It's difficult. And that's why I said it's heart-wrenching to be able to look at, and then you have someone telling you, oh, that's what you do, live together or get married, have a kid. Doesn't work for everybody. So it's got to be adjusted to you and be very individualized about the people, you, the person, the temperament, right? The personality, attitudes, belief systems, that type of things. What your morals might be, okay? So again, there's a lot of people that look at a right and wrong in this world, and there is definitely right and wrong, okay? We know that. Murder, rape, for instance, okay? Child molestation, absolutely. But I'm talking about, the gray areas, meaning, you have people arguing who's right, who's wrong when one wants a kid, the other one doesn't. One wants monogamy and the other person wants to be, in the lifestyle or open relationship. Somebody wants to live, say, downtown Detroit in a loft, and the other person wants to be on a farm raising cows, goats, chickens, horses. I love animals, but I don't want a farm, right? So, and you're arguing about who's right and who's wrong. You both are right. Okay? But it's looking at the lifestyle you want. And it's even more difficult when you hear a lot of people or couples talk about, oh, we just grew apart. And people don't, what do you mean you just grew apart? And that's what I'm talking about. I don't want couples to just grow apart, okay? I want to try to help couples, marriages, whatever, have the lifetime of happiness, of connection. Again, nothing's perfect, but to be able to look at what is that you're connecting, that you're able to handle disagreements, an argument, and you resolve it and be able to move on. You still feel loved. You still feel connected, okay? And it's, again, you're going to have bad days. That's life. That's a relationship. That's marriage, okay? I'm not one to blow smoke up people's booties and say, oh, all this is great. I'm a realist, and I want people to look at, okay, if this happens, I don't want bad stuff to happen, not at all. I want it to be prevented if possible. But how do you handle if something goes sideways, okay? If you get in an argument, you get in a disagreement, and it just doesn't go that well. What do? So that's what I want to help people with. So when going back to about growing apart, and, I look at what caused it, okay? Poor communication. We taught, that you thought one person would change their mind and they're not. A lot of women, no offense, ladies, will look at, well, he had potential. I thought he would do this. I thought he would change. I thought he would. And I'm like, nope. Did you ask? Did you ask him, number one, if he wanted to? Number two, was he willing to work after it, or her? Number three, is it even possible? Okay? So that's where a lot of people look at the potential. Oh, I thought they'd be a great dad, and they turn out to be, or a great mother, and they turn out to be not that great at all. Okay? So a lot of people you need to be open and talking about, and, even in the dating realm, right? Filters all over the place. They have this facade that I'm all this. Or you have people that might be in the dating realm that will, not only the filters, right? Dated pictures, all that stuff, but you have people that are jaded, meaning, they got burnt before in a relationship. They got their heart ripped out. I think most of us have. I have before, so I think a lot of us have, but they're still bitter. They're still angry, and they're jaded, but yet they're wanting to date. They're on dating sites. They're on dating apps, that type of thing, but they're very harsh, very cold, almost judgmental right off the bat. And I'm like, I hear this, I hear people in my office talk about this, and it's like a consistency. Men, women, doesn't matter. And I'm looking at, if you're jaded and you're looking to date or a healthy relationship, you're not going to find it until you look at not all men are evil. Not all women are evil. Get me? Or not all women are like this. Not all men are like this. And it's very difficult if people have been in abusive relationships before. I get it. But now we can look at, red flags. We can look at, listening to your gut instinct, that type of thing. And to be able to go after, and more specifically, what are you looking for? Not perfect, not at all. So I'm going to make a request out there again. Share this on your timeline, your pages. I want to bring as many people in. And I'm still waiting for questions. I'm still waiting for questions, people. So throw your questions out there. Check out my website. You can check out more about me, credentials, licensure, education, all that stuff to be fully licensed in the state of Michigan, theartofrelationships.org. So check that out, okay? And, excuse me, I'd love to know, I guess first off, what is your expectation of a happy, healthy relationship? And usually during the first session, I probably majority of the time, maybe 90%, 85% of the time, I'm going to ask a couple, and it's individually, not, well, they're with me together, but I'm going to ask them, hey, what are your ideas, each one of you, of a happy, healthy relationship, okay? To try to look at a lot of people, even people that have been together 10 years, 40 years, all over the place. They look at me like I'm speaking Chinese. No offense, I don't speak Chinese, okay? They look at me like, huh, what? Like they've never been approached with that question before. They've never been asked, or they've never asked each other. They just, and I get it, we fall in love and everything's bliss, right? But then that's where you look at the expectations about, what maybe people have gender role expectations. Maybe they have expectation who's going to cook, clean. Even, like I said, even if one wants a kid, the other one doesn't. Oh, I just assume you're a woman, you want a kid. I'm like, huh, what? No, not all women want kids. That's okay. That's healthy. That's a choice, And so there's a lot of dynamics about people. Oh, I thought this would happen. I thought that. And I asked, did you ever talk about it? Did you ever talk about this? Well, no, I just assume. And I get it, but I don't want people just to assume. I want people to know. And like I said, growing back to, and part of this expectation when couples will look at, when, about growing apart. Oh, we just grew apart. Because maybe one person, maybe they're both religious and one becomes atheist. And they can't handle that. And all of a sudden, it's all your fault. You're atheist now and you broke my heart. Or, whatever. One, all of a sudden, I always wanted to live close to family and parents and never move out of the city or town that we live in. And the other one had, all of a sudden start having dreams of living in another state, living in another climate, maybe living in another country, right? And they're like, man, I feel trapped. And that's where people will argue, right? Well, if you really love me, you did it. Or if you really love me, you did. How many people out there would still want their partner to remain even if they're miserable, even if they're unhappy? Now, that doesn't mean, oh, okay, they're unhappy, we're done. No. Need to look at what can be changed. Why are they unhappy or miserable? And what can we do as a team to try to change that and evolve that? And that's where, a lot of times it's hard because, say, when you started dating, maybe early 20s, serious, getting engaged, early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, whatever. And 10 years later, 20 years later, we assume or we think things are going to be this way all planned out. You have people that have their whole life planned out and it goes sideways and they can't handle it. That they have everything planned out. I'm going to get married by this age. I'm going to be, first I'm going to date seriously no matter if I love somebody or not. I'm going to get engaged at this time a year after. We're going to get married a year later. We're going to have a kid right away, 2 kids. And we're going to work here, live here, and it's all predicted, right? It's all planned out. And life goes sideways on them, and they have a hard time handling it. Or their partner finally maybe speaks up and say, I don't want this life. But then what happened? Hi, Jack, what's going on? Boy. Appreciate you tuning in. So there's a lot of dynamics and a lot of changes that can evolve and grow within relationships, within marriage. I'm not trying to discourage it. No, not at all. I'm all about trying to help heal it, heal relationships, heal marriages, and have you more fulfilled, more connected emotionally, mentally, and, intimately, sexually too. But intimately is not just sex. It's also the emotional intimacy, the mental intimacy, what goes on. It could be hugging. It could be non-sexual touch. So there's a lot of things that go into play in looking at and trying to understand and learn from each other so you can evolve and grow. And a lot of, I still hear it. Oh, he just, just wants sex. He just wants me as a piece of meat. And I'm like, and I'll ask, did you ever ask him what intimacy, what sex is to him? For most men, not all, okay, it is a way to connect, a way to feel loved, connect emotionally, to feel loved, to feel desired, to feel appreciated, to feel wanted, right? Those are all emotional. And yeah, the physical pleasure of it too. But also, do you realize, ladies out there, that a lot of men will get turned off sexually if they don't feel loved, they don't feel appreciated, they feel not nagged at, criticized, not good enough. They might just feel like just a paycheck. Oh, just give me money, pay the bills, and that's it. They're going to get turned off. And then women wonder why, because, men are supposed to be horny all the time. Nope. And those elements I just mentioned really sounds very familiar, right? Because it sounds very familiar, no different than a lot of women want to feel. They want to feel loved. They want to feel desired for who they are. They want to feel appreciated. Compliments, affirmations maybe. And not just for their booty. Okay? Unless you're okay with that, no big deal, right? But that's where you're looking at. There's a lot of myths, a lot of information out there that's put on social media that is mythological, it's untrue, it's biased information, judgmental, and it's just not right. And it does more harm than good in relationships and dating life and marriages, okay? And like I said, to those that are just listening, I'm actually Greg Dudzinski, fully licensed professional counselor in the state of Michigan, Metro Detroit, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes from downtown Detroit. And, to be fully licensed, you need a lot of education, minimum of a master's degree, internship, residency, practicum, all that stuff, postgraduate work. I have a lot of specialties, like I said, relationships, sexual dynamics as well. And I have a lot of grief and trauma experience. So a lot of people that out there will call themselves a relationship coach, and they have no clue. I'm honest, okay? They might have a few insights, but they don't have the empirical research behind them. They don't have the validated evidence, scientific evidence to back it up. And they're just, you just do this, right? And so you need to be careful out there and to be able to look at, who you're seeking help from and what their credentials are. And not only credentials, but specialties. And like I said earlier about, you have someone that specializes, I specialize in 30 things. They can't. That tells me they're maybe not good at anything, okay? Hey, Kelly, I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. Hey, Kelly, what's going on? I'm trying to help. What's happening? And like I said about being able to, throw your questions out there. That's why I'm doing this impromptu TikTok live video, and it's only on TikTok. I'm going to be single forever, love guru. Uh-oh, Kelly, what's going on? Hit me up. Are you too picky? Are you a magnet to toxic individuals? Is this about, let me ask, what type of partner are you looking for? It could be same sex. Are you looking for a man, a woman? And why do you think you're going to be single forever? So hit me up. I'd love to hear what's going on. And talk to me, okay? Yeah, I'm attracted, toxic, and ugly. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, you want a man, thanks. Now, I'm attracted to toxic and ugly. Wait a minute. Are you calling me ugly? I'm short, bald, whatever, right? Maybe I am ugly to a lot of people. I'm like, screw it, whatever. So hit me up. What do you, what? Well, we all have to be picky, Kelly. Okay, I appreciate that. We all have to be picky to a way, right? Like you might have just hopped on, and I said I don't want people to, to settle, be in a toxic relationship just because they're afraid or uncomfortable being lonely. So I think we have to be picky or choosy, right? So when you say, Kelly, you're picky, what are you looking for when you say you're going to be single forever? And what draws you to toxic men? Or what is your definition of toxic men? Okay, we can look at toxic all over the place. We can look at, alcoholism. We could look at, maybe drug addiction. We could look at somebody that is maybe still living in their mom's basement that doesn't want to work. You said someone that with a good job. And okay, now we look at, and people are going to I'm going to drive people nuts because I'm all about going to general to specific. The more specific you can be, that doesn't mean perfect, Kelly. But when you say about a good job, what the heck does that mean? Okay? A good job to some people could be, they work full-time at McDonald's. They work full-time, whatever, making a minimum wage. But they have, they're a hard worker. They work their butts off. So that's what I mean, So they just need an income. Okay, cool. Awesome. Now, what about temperament? What about personalities? What about, you mentioned about you tend to attract the uglies and the toxic elements. So that's what I'm looking at. What does that look like to you to be able to go after, okay? I need someone chill. Okay, I'm chill. I have a big personality. Uh-oh. You got to give me more to go on than just a big personality, okay? A big personality could mean someone that has borderline personality disorder, okay? That might have bipolar. That's more mood disorder than personality. Okay, very outgoing, awesome. That's great. And it could be, are you also big personality? I don't have. I'm being a smartass. So I'm looking at, when you talk about big personality, it could be loud, obnoxious. That's different, right? It could be, are you able to be compassionate, kind? Can you chill? Can you relax? And mix that in with you like to socialize. I like to socialize too, okay? I am loud. Now, you are loud, but, oh, thanks. You can admit that. That's awesome. And I'm all about owning our stuff. And I talked about that earlier, about being able to admit. So, but can you also be compassionate, empathic, caring, considerate, those type of things? And are you able to look at how you impact that other person? Awesome, you're compassionate. So I look at how do you impact that other person? To be able to look at, hey, that might be, my intent might be this, but if they take it that you're being bossy, that you're being judgmental, you're being overly critical. And I'm all about people. Hey, like I said earlier, I'm all about, hey, I don't feel loved. I don't feel respected by you. And they blow up and you said it just like that. Then you look at, is that person toxic? Can they actually handle their own shit? Are they able to hear what they do or how they impact their partner? That's important, okay? Very motherly. Oh, wait a minute. Now, there's a difference between, you can be compassionate and motherly to kids, your kids, that type of thing. But are you motherly to the man you want? So there's a difference. And a lot of people, they've been a mother, for a long time, right? Maybe their kids are adult now, teenagers. So you've been a mother a long time. But do you try to treat your man, boyfriend or potential boyfriend, husband, whatever you're looking for, Kelly, to be able to look at, like I said, maybe you're looking for short, bald, I don't know. But looking at, very motherly, or do you treat that man like you're their mother? Or do you criticize? Do you rip them apart? Well, you should have done this. That was stupid. You done this. You should have known better. Do you get me? So that's where I look at about, some people view it as motherly, and I have no idea. You could be that way. That's, could be compassion, empathic, and looking at, hey, how did this affect you? And hey, what are you thinking about? Hey, Angie, what's going on? So, Kelly, that's where I'm looking at. We can be very motherly, very fatherly, if you will. My daughter's 30 years old. So that's where I look at, about what does that look like. We can be very motherly, and that looks like different things to different people. That can be great, very kind, compassionate, very considerate, very helpful, right? And then if you have somebody that is, motherly in another way might come across as being controlling, always telling, oh, you should wear this, you should wear that. Why are you wearing this? Why do you do that? You need to, so you can have different views and different perspectives about what motherly looks like. What, I hear this in my office. Oh my God, Greg, he treats me like he's my parent. Marissa, I appreciate you joining in too. So that's where I look at about when you say motherly, I'm looking at, a different perspective. Most people, oh, you're motherly, that's great, whatever. But to somebody else, I want to know specifically, what does that mean? And that's why I say I'm not a jerk, not at all. I'm very compassionate. I do this. I help couples. I help people in my office because I care. I want people to heal trauma and pain and heal their relationships or find the love of their life. And looking at what does that look like, okay? Because a lot of people, they cannot accept being wrong. They can't accept fault. They'll bash people that tries to correct them or say, hey, wait a minute, that's not right. What do you mean I'm not right? And they get defensive. So that's where I look at those avenues, Kelly, and great questions. I love it. And to be able to look at, where are you at and, those type of things. And when you mention, Kelly, about being toxic and about looking at those situations, what does your, what do you need? What is your definition of a healthy relationship? Chip, what's going on, Chip? Oh my God, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Hopefully you and the missus are doing great, Chip. Yeah, it's cool to see you, man. And hopefully life is going awesome for you. So looking at, specifics and, wanting to find love, we all do. I do too. So to be able to look at, specifically, and there's difference between being, like I said, we can be choosy. We can be selective, if you will. Hey, what's happening, brother? Yes, we're doing great. Awesome. Awesome to hear, Chip. So say hi to the missus for me too, okay? And to be able to look at, when we're selective, what we're looking for, it's okay to be selective. Most people don't want just anybody, let's face it, okay? And you look at, what grabs attraction to you in the dating realm? What grabs, who are you attracted to, right? Some people, and I get it, some women are not, maybe a lot of women are not attracted to short, bald dudes. I'm like, screw it, okay. I'm confident enough you don't, I get it. That way, I'm not attracted to every type of woman out there as well. And some people might end up looking at, hey, Angel, I appreciate it. Like Angel did, thank you so much for sharing the live on your page. And that's where I'd love to, have everybody, if you can, or, share on your page. I want to help as many people out there as possible and to be able to look at helping them with dating, relationship, marriage, intimacy issues, sex issues too. Whatever I can do to, hey, you got it, no problem. Thanks so much. I'm very flattered, very, very appreciative, honestly, okay? So that's where you look at about specifically in like one viewer mentioned about maybe being too picky or being motherly. I don't want to bash. It's not about criticizing. It's about looking at, hey, what do I look for and what is toxic to me? And a lot of people, men, women, oh my God, Greg or G, they call me G a lot too, that we look at, I'm a magnet for toxicity. And I'm a magnet for people that are bad news, that are constant cheaters. And no, not everybody is that way. And it's not true that once a cheater, always a cheater. That's a myth. So you look at those type of avenues and those type of issues to be able to look at, okay, what is causing me to look at the toxicity? Why am I a magnet to toxic people? And this goes for men, goes for women. Doesn't matter, okay? I'm a magnet for people that always wants to be fixed type of thing. So we look at what is drawn to that. Is it I'm comfortable with that because that's what I've always been used to, maybe how we're raised. And it doesn't mean, there's a lot of myths out there. How we're raised, that's what we're going to end up being attracted to. There's some truth to that, but there's also not truth to that. It's subjective, okay? So you have a lot of people, it's all based on your childhood. And there's people out there that I know that I correct. Oh, your personality is formed by the time you're 7 years old. And they're in the healing profession, not counseling, no. Other Reiki, whatever. And they're telling their people, oh, by 7, your personality is formed and cemented. That's a myth. And let's face it, that's a flat out lie. So there's a lot of people out there that cause a lot of harm to other people, okay? So that's where I want you to look at, specifically, what are you looking for? And if it is toxic, if it is what you're used to, like, oh, my dad or my mom was an alcoholic growing up, abuser, so I end up being with an abuser later on. Part of that, it could be because of what you're used to. Oh, gotta run, Greg. Love you, brother. Oh, man, thanks, Chip. I appreciate you. I love you and the missus back, too. You know that, and it's been a while since we talked. So much love. Peace and love to you and the missus out there. Take care. So I look at, where do we find comfort with a toxic person? Some people, again, they want to change. They want to heal them. They want to be their they want to be their savior, right? And it's something out there that some people have the need, get in codependency, dependency, that type of stuff, to be able to look at, my purpose is trying to heal somebody. My purpose is trying to fix somebody. And then they run into, or that comfort level that, if that person is toxic, then all the attention goes off of me, goes on that person, right? And now you're looking at, what is toxicity to you? And I look at toxicity, clinically, professionally, might be different than what people look at with toxic behavior. Toxic behavior, I sense a dull vibe coming from the right leg just below the kneecap. Well, that I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor. I sense a dull vibe coming from the right leg just below the kneecap. So is that a vibe you feel? You like some people get a tingling or the hair on the back of their neck. Well, I have no hair when they run into somebody that might be toxic. Maybe that's, maybe that's what you mean, Rome. I'm not sure. So that's where I look at, what toxic is to you. So, watch the salt and preservative intake. Keep a close eye on the heart, bro. Oh, absolutely. I agree. No, that I agree. And we could look at, and when you're talking about, health issues interfering with intimacy or sex life too, diabetes, high blood pressure, certain medications can cause erectile challenges in men. Medications can kill desire in men and women. Depression medications, some of them can do that. Blood pressure medications, maybe thyroid medications can mess up with a lot of stuff. So no, Rome, I appreciate you bringing that up when you talk about, salt and preservatives. with salt, have high salt intake for high blood pressure, and it could be medically changed or manipulated a little bit that doesn't have the horrible or the negative side effects with certain medications, and looking at what's going on. So that's why I look at if there's challenges going on, intimacy or desire issues, I want to go after medical aspects right away. Have you had blood work done? Have you talked to your doctor about it? Because if it is more of a relationship, emotional, mental challenge, insecurities, that type of thing, versus a medical issue, then I want that medical issue to be resolved, and you might be good to go. So you might not need counseling. You might not need, help from me or another professional in your relationship aspect. So that's why I look at, is it a medical issue if it comes to, when it comes to sex, okay? Or maybe it comes down to someone has a mood disorder that they have a hard time managing anger. They have a hard time, maybe manic episodes. So I'm a mental health counselor too, a licensed professional counselor, but I specialize in relationships and sexual dynamics challenges and, grief and trauma too. So want to look at, what is going on with that, what is challenging. A lot of people, oh, you need to do this or you need to work on this, a counselor, and they have no clue, and you're doing this for 10 sessions, 12 sessions, and I get ticked. And all of a sudden you find out it's a medical challenge, not a behavioral health or challenge or a relationship dynamic. It's a medical challenge. And you just wasted your time because that other so-called professional counselor therapist has no clue what they're doing. I'm going to be blunt, okay? Like I said, I'm very protective over people. I'm very protective over my clients that I see in my office. So it's not everything according to me, no. It's about how people want to live their life and how I can help them get there without judgment, without bias, okay? We might all have biases, but then if we do, then we better not see that person, okay? We better not see that couple if there's bias or judgmental. That if somebody requires someone that is a devout Christian counselor, I'm not going to see them because that's not me. You get me? Because I could get into the own professional ethics regarding that and their own bias and judgment. But again, it's what that couple wants and what they're comfortable with. I just hope they serve on that, serve them well. You get me? So I won't serve them because I don't deem myself as that. I can work with the premise of that, absolutely, and respect that. But again, if you're looking for, and some people will go into marriage counseling, couples counseling with their own agenda, right? Like that never happens. It happens a lot. One wants to save the marriage or relationship, and the other one wants to end it. You get me? So they're trying to stack their deck where one person wants to save the marriage, and they're trying to stack the deck and trying to get the counselor to buy in and be biased against their partner, saying, oh, you need to stay married. You need to stay there. You need to, you get me? That's a bias. That's a judgmental situation. Yep, you just said, Angel, yeah, you just mentioned happens a lot. And it does. And I am, I'm buffering? Uh-oh, sorry, man. I don't know why I'm buffering. Everything's going up, but I appreciate it. Rome, man, I appreciate it on my phone. I don't know why I'm buffering. No, thanks for letting me know. The Wi-Fi is good. The phone, hopefully it's good. So, no, I appreciate it, okay? Thanks, and you said I was buffering too, okay? Hope you listen, bro. Oh, stay safe. Yeah, I appreciate it. So, Angel, I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know why it was buffering. I'm on with TikTok. I'm on my phone. I want to be on a computer. That way it might relieve the buffering issue. So I appreciate it. And hopefully the buffering doesn't come back. So yeah, thanks for the heads up, Angel and Rome. I appreciate that. But going back to, yeah, Angel, I'm sorry. It happens a lot where there's a lot of people, and it's part of our professional organizational ethics, okay? Part of our licensing about the bias, about judgment, about there's some people that go into this field out of a power trip that they deem you should live your life how you want to. Or I'm sorry, you need to live your life, have your relationship, have your life individually, marriage, according to how I want you to, because I'm the professional. You need to listen to me. And it's very dangerous. It's very unethical. So if you ever run into that situation, you need to find somebody else, okay? And it's frustrating. I get upset. I get ticked because I'm all about people. And I love hearing, hey, Greg, I have an individual counselor. We're in for, marriage couples therapy with you. I have my own individual counselor. And my first question is, are they good? Are they helping you? Oh, yeah, they are. Great. I love hearing that. Okay. I love hearing about other good people in the field. You stay safe too, Rome. Thanks. So that's where I look at, I'm a huge advocate for people getting help. I'm a huge advocate, not only getting help, but getting the right help that works for them. So when you look at the situation, when you look at the avenue about looking at what works best for you, you need to be able to understand. And I just followed you back, Angel, or Angelix. I'm not too sure. I just called you Angel, so I don't want to disrespect you. I hope I got that right. So I don't want to disrespect people. So looking at those dynamics again about what you look for, what you want, in your relationship, in a marriage. So it's important. And, earlier said that she was picky. I think we need to be choosy, right? We need to look at compatibility, how we complement each other. And a lot of people, we can have compatibility, right? I joke around a lot when I say, men might have 10 things they're looking for in a partner, if they're heterosexual, in a woman, and women have 50 things they're looking for. It's just the way it is. Well, maybe not teasing. So, but you can have everything on your list, right? Hey, here's what it looks like, compatibility, right? We are the same, whatever, culture, same likes. We like the same things, same beliefs, same values. Everything matches, right? Check, check, check. What happens if you don't have chemistry, right? That's what cracks me up. A lot of people look at that you have, and compatibility is huge. It's important. But I tell people you can have compatibility, but what happens if you don't have chemistry? And it's never there. Are you okay with that? And some people are. Some people are okay living as friendships, living as roommates, and they're okay with that. Again, like I said, I don't judge. It's not my life. It's your life. But most people are not that way. And that's a difference between being friend zoned, right? Being in a friendship versus a romantic interest. And you have a lot of people out there, and this is where I disagree to a point, where you have people out there, oh, you got to be friends first. And I'm like, yeah, not necessarily. The friendship can evolve and grow over time. But if that chemistry is not there, chances are it's not going to be there, okay? And I might be my own bias when it comes to this, and I look at professionally, working with singles, dating, working with couples, relationships, and people that are dating, want to take it to the next level, relationship, live together, turn into marriage type of thing. And we look at, is the chemistry going to be there? Is the relationship going to be there all the time? Okay. So, is the chemistry going to be there all the time? It's not going to be there 24/7. But I'm talking about it's going to be there more times than not. I think the friendship the common interests, common themes, that you both are, say, nice people, right? You both share certain things. But I think, like I said, trust and respect, when I said earlier that trust and respect have to be earned, that it's not just given, okay? So, so automatically you be friends and all this stuff, but, you have friends and you don't have that chemistry, what's going to happen? You're in that friend zone, right? But you also can have a lot of chemistry, a lot of sexual chemistry, attraction, but no compatibility, right? So chances are that's going to end up fighting, whatever. You fight just to have makeup sex, right? And then it's just a rinse and repeat because there's no compatibility. You're not, in sync on emotional level, on mental level. So there's a lot of things out there and a lot of biases out there. You need to be friends first. I'm like that. I get where they're going with that, but I disagree to a point. You can like each other, right? You can have, the same interests. Great, terrific. And that friendship, I think, can grow and evolve over time. Like I said, that's where, trust and respect are earned. That evolves. That deepens over time. Loyalty, right? All that can go on as it evolves and the relationship grows. But you look at, and there are times, I'm going to admit, I have people I know that they were friends. They were best friends for a long time, or they, were friends for years. And all of a sudden, chemistry came into play later on. That does happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but it's rare. I'm looking at, percentages, and everybody looks at, research and all this stuff. There are what we call outliers, okay? Those outliers are the exceptions, right? You have so many people, research says this, so you have to fall in to what that research says. No. That research is a parameter. It's a guideline. Get me? But there's always outliers. There's always exceptions to that research. So you need to be able to look at, research says, but I'm different. You might be different, but I want you to be, and that's okay. That's why I said, what I try to help people and couples for years, right? That's why I'm very individualistic. Yeah, I use research, empirical, validated strategies to help people, absolutely. But that needs to be tailored to the needs of each individual I'm seeing or working with, and each couple, marriage, trying to help, okay? So that's where you look at, how do you want your life to be? Again, not perfect, nothing's perfect, okay? But where it's good enough. And look at those traits. What is looking for you? And if your relationship or marriage is sideways right now, look at what's going on. Hey, you know what? Could I listen better? Could I sort of not be judgmental? Can I actually listen without being judgmental or being defensive? There we go. Sorry, I said judgmental twice. My bad. So I look at those situations, those elements, okay, to be able to look at, I can work on, right? I can look at those situations and be less judgmental. Maybe I can be more patient. I can be more compassionate. Maybe I can learn to maybe not attack my partner, and I can come to them instead of at them. But a lot of people, you look at relationship dynamics and what's going on is being able to adhere and learn. How do you grow? How do you judge, or not judge, but how do you judge yourself instead of judging other people? Hey, you know what? I can work on this. I can work on that. Instead of, I'm not that way. I don't do that. How many people are guilty? I've been guilty of that before too. I'm human. But are you able to look at ways, what am I doing to cause problems in my marriage or relationship? Am I actually listening to my partner? And there's some people that are great at communicating, great at, wanting to know what their partner's going through, what they're mad about, what they're upset about, why they don't feel loved. or appreciated or whatever they need, and they go, I don't know. Man, there's no talking, there's no communication. And it's very difficult if you're showing care and compassion, but your partner is not giving you information or feedback. So what do you do with that? It's hard. It's almost impossible because you're just, shooting in the dark, if you will. It's trial and error instead of looking at specifically what is needed in a relationship. Not only that, does your partner also want to know what you need to feel loved, to feel respected, to feel desired, appreciated, important, a priority, those type of things. And again, it's looking at what started eroding the relationship or marriage. Was there something that happened? A lot of people won't, and I talk about this on the Art of Relationships show a lot, about, a lot of people, I don't think intentionally, and I have it right here, love intentionally, my shirt, tattooed on my arm, it's in my wall all over, about being intentional with your love, that a lot of people, it's not their intention, but they start taking each other for granted, right? We have kids now, so we take it for granted that the relationship has to go on the back burner. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. I get it. We're exhausted. I get that we are maybe burned out, working, dealing with the kid or kids and, running here, running there. But what are you doing to be intentional so you don't start taking each other for granted? What are you doing to be intentional to make your relationship or marriage a priority, not just the kids, okay? And that's where you start feeling not heard, not listened, maybe just a paycheck, not appreciated. Oh, I'm just the mother of your kids. I'm just the paycheck. I hear this on a daily basis in my office, people. Well, not Sundays, because I usually take Sundays off. So those are the elements that looking at where did the breakdown go in a relationship or marriage? What was going on and how can we heal it? And let's face it, rebuild trust, because my special area is helping couples heal after an affair. One cheated, betrayed, one form or another, okay? And it's devastating. It just shatters the whole world, their whole world, and looking at what I can do to heal it. So, my voice is shot. My voice is gone. Been on, oh my God, hour and a half already. So, no, I appreciate it, everybody. And I'm going to do these impromptu live TikTok videos, and I appreciate it. Angel, Rome, Kelly, I appreciate tuning in. And much love. Peace and love to everybody out there. Make sure you check out, if you want to know more about me, check out my website, theartofrelationships.org. I do have some courses that are on sale now. Check them out. They're cheap. Like I said, I think they're like $37 a piece. So they're cheap. And they have a lot of content. I spent a lot of time putting them together. So, and it's stuff I actually use in my sessions with couples. That's, after all the years I put together these to help people and go to the root of the issue, okay? So, follow me. I'm so flattered. Follow me on social media, Love Guru Greg. And again, peace and love. And thank you for spending your time with me. Your time's valuable, so I don't take that for granted. Thank you so much, people. Take care. Bye-bye.